ABC, it's Dean here to shoot a video response to Paige Martins' 1,000 subscription thread. Right, so yeah, congratulations Paige. I don't know how long I've been subbed to your channel now, yeah, I mean 1,000 subs is huge. I think you've been part of VC since sort of Feb time. I think I had a quick look. So for such basically less than a year, you've 1,000 subs, but you deserve it because you're passionate about your music and people are interested in your videos, and you know, you talk about what you're passionate about. So you know, that's why where you're at. I think you've got your own blog and everything as well, and so you really are into music and that kind of type of thing, sort of 60s, things like that. I don't have a great affinity for the 60s. I think the Beatles and the Monkees is sort of where I almost leave it. Not that, you know, I'm anything against the 60s or anything like that. I can most probably listen to a lot of stuff and think, well, actually, you know, I did have more interest in there, but just sort of off the top of my head at the moment. You know, I can say I listen to a lot of songs, things like, is it Jerry and the Pacemakers, things like that. It's the 60s, I think. Forgive me if I'm incorrect, but right. So please forgive me. I have a bit of a cold and flu at the moment, so if I do cough, sputter or croak, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go top 10, first to 10, and then I'm going to show some sort of additional mentions and stuff like that. So good albums I think that was in the decade I've chosen, which is the 90s. So I think 90s basically was my introduction to music. I was going to college, and I think most of the things that I had pumped into me, I'd always liked music, but other than what my mum or dad would play or what would be on the radio, I used to be one of those kids that would listen to the charts and record the charts and try and stop it before the DJ started ruining the track. But yeah, that was a lot younger, and I sort of only ever really got fed what the charts would give me, and I didn't have a lot of access to other things, and so, you know, it's, I suppose in the 90s was when I started to go to college and my horizons broadened and the music world opened up to me, so to speak. So, you know, I just, you know, it's nice to have parents and everything that listen to a lot of music. Mine didn't so much. My dad used to listen to the Shadows an awful lot and things like that. So it's very kind of, you know, my mum never really listened to that much. So it was up for myself almost to find out what I sort of liked and what I didn't like. So number one, my favourite record of the 90s is Oasis, Definitely Maybe, and I mean, just the whole thing. Anybody that has seen any of my channels knows I'm a big Oasis fan, and just the, you know, the whole album itself was new. It was like the birth of Britpop, sort of what was, I suppose, the birth of indie music, as they classed as the artists that were on an independent label at the time, and you things like Rock and Roll Star, Shaker Maker, Live Forever, Columbia, Supersonic, Bring It On Down, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Digsy's Diner, Slide Away. It's, you know, Slide Away is one of my favourite tracks, along with Supersonic and Cigarettes and Alcohol, most probably my three favourite tracks. on this album. But you know, in terms of profound impact, this was most probably it. Absolutely phenomenal album, in my opinion. You know, absolutely love it. Second only to, obviously, definitely, maybe, is What's the Story, Morning Glory. A couple of years on, and they came back with, most probably some people say, a slightly softer album. And Hello, Roll With It, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger. Some might say Morning Glory, Champagne Supernova. It definitely wasn't as raw and unrefined as sort of Definitely Maybe. It certainly had a lot more refinement to it. And I think some people, seen that as a bit of a change. And there's one guy at university, I can remember, I was talking to my friends and he asked me what I was listening to, and I said this, and he piped up and he said, "Oh, what is it? This is it? Definitely Maybe, or What's the Story, Morning Glory?" And I said to him, "What's the Story, Morning Glory?" And he went, "Oh," he just had this face of disgust, and basically said he wouldn't buy that album because he thought they were sellouts, and that guy was an idiot. So yeah. So we were never friends with him. But yeah, so absolute plonker. Number 3, Nirvana, Nevermind. You know, in terms of, like, those are, I consider iconic albums, obviously, to me, whether they're to other people. This is an iconic album across the world, I do believe. Smells Like Teen Spirit, obviously the track that fueled the revolution, which was Nirvana at the time. With Bleach, I think was more sort of their introduction, underground indie kind of becoming well known in America and things like this. This was the album that globalized them, and you know, the whole track listing off side 1 is phenomenal. Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Come As You Are, Breathe, Lithium Poly, all fantastic tracks. And then obviously the other side is still very good. It's an absolute stunning album, full of energy. Again, this was, if anyone thinks like a rock track that may not work on a car stereo, or you want something that can just absolutely shift air, Smells Like Teen Spirit. The amount of people and the amount of time I had that playing in my car, and it's just that thing, the guitar at the start, and then it just kicks in the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and hell breaks loose. It is an absolute amazing high volume track. You just go for it, and that's exactly, I think, how it was meant to be played. It's absolutely awesome. Another one that featured a lot in my car when I was at college, The Prodigy, Fat of the Land. This, I don't know, my personal opinion, this is their best album. It's different from their other albums, and I think the more modern ones have been similar to this, but obviously as bands change, they go through these stages, and this one was more sort of a rocky kind of dance kind of bass thing. It was more up to date. It was caught on like wildfire in the UK. Smack My Bitch Up, Breathe, Diesel Power, Serial Thriller, Narana, Firestarter obviously was an immense track in the UK. you've just got this guy with an absolutely nuts haircut, and they all sort of, the first album they were ravers, the second album they were a bit funny, third album they were completely distinct, they all had a really different look about them, piercings and obviously weird hair and everything like that, and that's what sort of brought it home a little bit. I think it was absolutely outstanding album in my opinion. Even the artwork is just iconic to me. And number 5, Act One Baby. So I mean, this was out late '91, and again, this was sort of like my friend made me, but I used to go around his house a lot, and he'd have U2 on all the time, and The Cure. It was all early, all the early stuff. So pre this, and this was when I fell in love with U2, and in terms of just great songs, even better than The Real Thing, and Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, and a lot of good tracks on there, but so many great tracks like One and So Cruel, The Fly and Mysterious Ways. I think absolutely standout tracks on this album, absolutely phenomenal. Most particularly I think is So Cruel and Mysterious Ways. They're just absolutely phenomenal tracks. But the whole album just works, and I think there was a documentary recently. I was seeing the story and obviously behind it, how close they come to maybe not doing this album and splitting up and everything, because Bono was being so not so much regimented, but so adamant about how he wanted it to be and how he wanted it to sound and things like that, and in my opinion, fantastic. My favourite REM album might cause a bit of shock to some people, but REM, Monster, and some people may just think, what the hell, this is my album, this is my favourite album. And in terms of REM albums go, I mean, I've got Automatic for the People in there as well. It's not in my top 10. I think, is it my top 10? It is in my top 10. But it's not my favourite. And basically this has got a lot of history. I mean, this is the first and only album that I bought on release day. Not this particular copy, but the CD version of it, because really no comprehension that vinyl was still around at the time. I was quite young, so I never really got into vinyl, so it was cassettes and then CD for me basically. But yeah, What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Absolutely loved the track. The video was epic to me. You've got him dancing around and it sort of cuts and gets higher and higher and higher until it explodes, like the lights flashing that he's shaved his head. And you know, there's a whole lot of things surround this album, but What's Frequency, Kenneth, Crush with Eyeliner, King of Comedy, Star of 69, Strange Currencies, Bang and Blame, and I Took Your Name is like just the tracks on it. I absolutely love them. It's whether it's just have a more affinity with this album than Automatic for People. But I think a lot of the history for this album as well. I mean, when they were writing this and REM were going through a lot of sort of bits and bobs, this was their sort of change album. A lot of people think that this was the demise of REM as well, but you know, it's, you know, no band can stay the same. And I think at the time, obviously, you know, Michael Stipe people have friends in Hollywood and, you know, in the business and things like that. And there was 2 reasonably big deaths in his friendship circle when he was sort of doing this album, or before he was doing this album. And Kurt Cobain and River Phoenix, the actor. And River Phoenix is a very good actor, and I think it obviously took, just like Cobain took, from a very young age. If you want to check out a film that has River Phoenix in it, Sneakers, I absolutely love Sneakers. It's got Robert Redford in it, and Sir Ben Kingsley, and Dan Aykroyd, and sort of a few other people. But yeah, River Phoenix plays this sort of like quirky, goofy guy, but it's really good. And yeah, they did a couple of sort of like dedications on this. So Let Me In, they dedicated for Kurt Cobain, and I suppose a nice touch, Bang and Blame, they had River's sister, I believe it's called Rain, do backing vocals on Bang and Blame, and they dedicated this album to River Phoenix as well. So REM Monster, number 6. Number 7, Green Day, Dookie. So my 2 standout tracks on this, and my 2 standout tracks, other than most probably Time of Your Life in terms of Green Day, are Welcome to Paradise and Basket Case. Just absolutely love them. Welcome to Paradise, just balls to the wall, fast paced track, and Basket Case, the video was, I just loved it. You know, it's that kind of thing. I did like sort of, so When I Come Around, stuff like that is quite good on here as well. But they were the 2 standout tracks for me. This was like another album that I had on sort of high repeat with others as I went through. For all the people that were hissing at me when I pulled out Monster, here you go. Number 8, Automatic for the People, REM. Very fine album, most probably their most iconic album. Sidewinder, Sleeps Tonight, Drive, Everybody Hurts, Man on the Moon, Night Swimming and stuff like that. Absolutely class album. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Out of Time and I love Automatic for the People. I just think I have more affinity with Monster at the time, and you know, I still love this album. Well deserved to be in most probably in a lot of people's top 10s if they have anything for the 90s. Number 9, Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine, one of, if not the, I suppose, anti-establishment album of the 90s, basically. I never heard anything like Rage Against the Machine when this came out. Every track on it, I think, is fantastic. The kind of quirky, the guitars and everything, the heavy use of the bass guitar, the singing be quite different, and just the whole sound of it, and obviously the iconic picture on the front of the album of the monk setting himself on fire in protest. You just can't get enough of this album, and I think this recent notoriety, I think, was brought back when X Factor, anti-establishment as much as you get really, X Factor, establishment, and a couple of years ago, obviously the person that wins X Factor usually gets the Christmas number 1, and someone decided to bring out a campaign to people to buy a track off here and make it number 1. I think it was Killing in the Name of, I'm not 100% sure. It was Killing in the Name of, or Take the Power Back, I think, but I'm pretty sure it was Killing in the Name of, and it did it. It beat the Filth X Factor to #1. So yeah, it was a nice victory, I suppose, for people that wanted to do it. But it was a nice, refreshing change, because people always expect it. And it's like, whoever wins X Factor has the Christmas #1. They release a single. They've got the popularity of all the people that have voted for them in the past. Everyone goes out and buys it, and then someone does that, and it's like a big screw you. Number 10, Metallica's S&M. This was most probably when I really got into Metallica. Black Album, Love Ends, Sandman, stuff like that. But I really appreciated Metallica when I heard this. Just the whole album is outstanding. Of a sort of a thrash metal band playing with an orchestra, and it's the San Francisco Symphonic Orchestra, so it's no little mincy orchestra. And the DVD gives you a very good scale of how this is put together, and it is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, number 10. Right, so I've just got some albums I'll rattle through now to complete off and finish before 30 minutes. So other albums that I think are pretty good. So Prodigy, Music for the Jilted Generation. Very good tracks on this. Voodoo People, No Good, Start the Dance, Their Law, and Poison, which is, I think, the transition track over to Fat of the Land. But very good. Can't have one without the other, really. So Prodigy Experience, heavily focused. My first introduction to the Prodigy was from people in my IT class at college. And Out of Space, whole album is very good, but Out of Space and Charlie are most probably the two well-known tracks on there. But so I mentioned some Metallica before, but Metallica. So Enter Sandman, huge on MTV when I was growing up. Nothing Else Matters, Holier Than Thou, Wherever I May Roam. I think I appreciated Metallica more after I listened to S&M, so sort of made me go back to them a bit more. Pearl Jam's 10, and very good album. Iconic track on here is Alive. Absolutely stunning track. If there was ever to be an iconic track off an album, to me it is Alive. It's amazing. So this is Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. So I think my introduction to this was through this album, and obviously the main two tracks would be 1979 and the other one that's completely drawn blank with me now. Freaking screw it. Tonight. Why didn't I remember that? But yeah, they're the two tracks that I like most profound with that album. And yeah, one of my college friends, I think before we were friends, came to me with that album. Was sort of, it was talking about this album to someone else, a friend of a friend, and he just sarcastically said to me, he says, "I bet you don't even know who we're talking about." And I said, "What? Smashing Pumpkins?" And he went, "Alright." And I said, "Oh yeah, this album, I've got it." And he went, "Alright, okay." And I think it was most probably from then we sort of built a bit more of a rapport. And yeah, he's one of my best friends to this day now. So Um, Two more iconic albums of the 90s, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. So Guns N' Roses, basically Live and Let Die, November Rain, Garden of Eden, Civil War, and Knocking on Heaven's Door, I think was most probably the standout tracks of this. And my friend used to listen to two groups all the time. One was Guns N' Roses, so thank you for that. The other one was Ace of Base. I do not thank you for that at all. You know, I saw the sign, I didn't like it. All that she wants is a baby, or piss off and have one. Yeah, so Nirvana Unplugged in New York. Fantastic live album in my opinion. Absolutely love it. About a Girl, Come As You Are, The Man Who Sold the World, Dumb, Polly, and you know, All Apologies. I think the thing, what I said about Metallica's S&M was very real about this as well. New slight sort of slant on some of the songs that you may have heard before, and gave them a bit of a different gloss to it. But I thought it was a fantastic album. So Nirvana's In Utero. So you've got things like All Apologies, Dumb, Rape Me, Heart Shaped Box, things like that on there. It's a very good album. Third album of theirs. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. Top album in my opinion. All I Really Want, Hand in My Pocket, Head Over Feet, Ironic. Absolutely iconic album of the 90s if there is ever one. Very early 90s album, Depeche Mode and Isolator, and yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but for some unknown reason I've got it in my head that maybe it was a different brain fart basically, and thought the album might be called Infiltrator. That's why I've been paused so long. Obviously, completely not the case. Personal Jesus, Enjoy the Silence, something like that. Absolutely phenomenal album. Took up where Acton Baby left off. Not as profound, I don't think, but really good. Numb, Stay on there is very good as well. Bjork, Debut, Violently Happy, Human Behaviour, Big Time Sensuality, fantastic tracks off the album. Anyone wants something different, obviously maybe done a lot more now, but Portishead, fantastic album, Dummy. And it's just, I'd never heard anything like this before when it first came out. It was sort of, it's not dance music, it's really difficult to sort of, I suppose, categorise it really. So, but yeah, they're my, I suppose, the latter ones, worthy mentions of the 90s. Yeah, so as I say, I've stuck to things I've got on vinyl, so really have much Radiohead or anything like that, or the Showed OK Computer and the Bends and stuff like that. But yeah, there you go. Under 30 minutes. Boom! See you later.